All right. Welcome to Transparency and Merit. I'm Joe, and I'm here with Brian.
I'm here, Joe.
You are here, man. And what are we talking about? Truth and dissent.
Yes, we are. You know what? We are talking about truth and dissent. You know, and I gotta say, I got that idea from Dennis Prager. Basically, how truthful, and you know what? I mean, some of the times I disagree with him. Other times, not so much. But my thing is he said, how good or how truthful is truth if it can't handle dissent? And the truth is, a lot of these people believe they're stating the truth, but they cannot handle any kind of dissent against their narrative. And that's why I call a lot of it a faith, particularly the fanatical anti-racist.
We have a website, transparencyandmerit.com. And do you want to set up this video?
Well, this video really angered me. Maybe I shouldn't be as angry, but I feel like this person asked a loaded question and then acted like a middle schooler with her response. And then the other one, I think, tried to also, just stick up for her too and act like they were acting like middle schoolers against a high school principal kind of thing. Go ahead and play the tape.
Many times that the U.S. is doing far better than any other country when it comes to testing.
Yes.
Why does that matter? Why is this a global competition to you if everyday Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer. Yes, behind you, please.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm telling you, I'm not saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like that.
That's not a nasty question.
Please go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead in the back, please.
I have two questions.
No, it's okay.
But you pointed to me. I have two questions, Mr. President.
Next, please.
But you called on me.
I did, and you didn't respond, and now I'm calling on
Sorry, I just
the young lady in the back, please.
I just wanted to let my colleague finish,
Okay.
but can I ask you
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, turn it off. I don't want to hear anymore because I don't want to hear CNN anymore. Okay. That, in my opinion, was a disgusting display of journalistic ethics. You ask a loaded question. You know how Trump's going to respond, and then you make it into a racial issue. She's pathetic. Both of these individuals are juvenile, in my opinion. I mean, I don't, and you know what, if anyone can, because I haven't researched the subject, right, but I have never seen behavior like this from the press corps, ever. And I've been a news junkie for years. I've not always been interested, though, in the press corps, but this is the first time that I've seen stuff like this. And it's just bad. It's right now, we are suffering. We are in our homes. You might want to ask about so, keeping, social distancing. Like how can we keep the city alive and get our economy going with social distancing? What measures do you have in play? A lot of people want to know that. And you want to harangue the president saying, like, what are you doing wrong? Like that's going to get any response. You know that. You know the president enough to know how he's going to respond to you when you ask a loaded question. It's just,
Truth and Dissent. So
Yeah.
where are we going next? That
well,
is-
and I that's the only video that I have up. But this goes to me, for me, like these are the people who keep the news. These are the people who are supposed to be exposing the truth. And they basically, this is CNN, but it was a CBS reporter, I believe. But CNN has a gentleman, I think Oliver Darcy, who goes out of his way to attack citizen journalists. And the thing is, when they behave like this and they give this kind of thing credence, they're not doing any good. They're not doing they're not doing their news program any favors. And if they were doing the truth and telling the truth, they would be able to handle the dissent, but they can't. They got YouTube to change their algorithms. So now that when you go to CNN Sucks, it goes right onto all CNN programs. And yeah, that's Oliver Darcy right there. That's the man, the myth, the legend right there. That is a person.
For us later this hour, I think viewers are desperate for some good news in this moment because there isn't any.
He's horrible. Let's not. Don't have him. I mean, to me, like, because he's the type of person that goes after people. And I'm wondering what's been said about my Twitter, because I've been going off on this whole thing at the moment. Just this whole Ahmed Aubrey thing, which has been blown out of proportion. And
it's definitely been blown way out of proportion. So what is where are you at? What's going on there with the Aubrey story?
Well, look at what someone said. This is my good. It said this is my good side. And one of them asked me if I was on the spectrum. I don't know where they came up with that. Maybe sometimes they get like over passionate, and I'll just begin to tweet things that perhaps not the best of grammar. Maybe if they listened to my show, they would, but I doubt they would. But it just goes on from there. This whole thing has.
Blue Wave Writer said, and you, my dear, need to go back even further to elementary school, perhaps, to learn basic grammar and punctuation. Then maybe someone can understand what you are trying to say.
And I guess she responded to it. No, that's not what happened. She asked a legitimate question and was brushed off when she called him out on it. He got flustered and left. He asked, why don't you? It was a loaded question. It's not a legitimate question. Legitimate questions are not loaded. You know how he's going to respond. And like I said, she's biased. She likes what the reporter did because, anything that makes the president so-called look bad is good for her. But I can't believe that the American people are really buying that.
Me either.
I see I got another response. Oh, is this another? Oh, this is okay. Uh, and she said the neighborhood was not under threat. There had been no burglaries. The McDaniels had seen a video of another black guy trespassing in October, but it was not Ahmad. You know, again, we'll know more. I mean, like, this is people protesting before they get all the facts of the case. And the problem with this situation is there are a lot of emotional people out there who are.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
This video that's come out where apparently the Aubrey boy was videotaped walking through a home during his so-called jog.
Yeah.
It was a vacant home being rebuilt.
Mhm.
No signs of theft. No, there's no.
But he could have been casing the home to steal from it.
There's no evidence of that either. But if you have it, you should show it. Otherwise, it's just another part of the story that people are saying that this will be enough to get those guys out of jail.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's everybody off across the board. So what we're looking at is another media-fueled division, active division, possibly a racial division. And I think what these all play out the same way. Every one of these stories. How did that guy making the video? How did he not get the license plate on that car? How is it that UFO videos are clearer than that video?
you know, I mean, that's I mean, like I said, I mean, yeah.
I'm just being honest. You can't even go out and buy a phone with a camera that would give you that quality.
Yeah. Now I'm kind of curious. Yeah, I mean,
That's what I'm pushing all day long. That it's not passing the smell test. But a lot of people are arguing over these other ideas. There's already plenty of division going on here. People are ready to start fighting about these sort of ideas. Here's another comment, by the way.
yeah.
He doesn't seem to have remembered Ahmad, as he doesn't tell the cops who he is. He also thought that Ahmad was in the trespassing footage from October, but ABC confirms that man was shorter, had different hairstyle, and different complexion than Ahmad.
You know what I mean? Like I said, there's a lot of different. Right now, I mean, this thing is kind of fresh within the news media right now, so we really don't know a lot of things, and cooler heads should prevail. I mean, the truth is, these guys could have acted irresponsibly and cost.
It will cool off, but 4, 5, 6 months down the road, there's going to be a court case, and these guys are going to watch. We've already seen this formula played out so many times.
Well, one of our, we were there, and we had our own radio show during the Trayvon Martin case, and the country was divided. And before that, I mean, we didn't have a radio show, but the country was divided over O.J. Simpson, and it was divided along racial lines. This goes to show you, to a degree, how the country has changed, because even conservatives have become woke progressives in the beginning, and then they're like shown to like, nah, dude, that's not the full story. On average, there are times where I could be surprised, but to me, the anti-racist leftist, they are often the biggest censors, and they are probably the most myopic group out there, and they definitely don't want to be challenged. To me, the fanatical anti-racist leftists are the reason why we have such hypocrisy and censorship on social media. because it's hate speech first, and then it became anti-conspiracy theories after that. So, but it's like, this is, I mean, what the show is about. If you're an authoritative source and you're a truthful source, you can handle dissent. The truth is supposed to be able to stand up to dissent, you know, and instead of answering it and debating it, it censors it. I mean, are they wrong to say that the media, that the majority of the mainstream media is against the president? Would the president be wrong not to think that? And the alternative media is in favor of him, and they are the citizens. And the mainstream media tries to censor the alternative media. How does that look? It looks like those in power don't like you and want to thwart your efforts. You know, the truth is, when you're in power, you know, unless you're dealing with a dictatorship, you have to deal with the public. And when you say things that people think are filled with nonsense, you know what? I mean, in this day and age, yeah, it is more difficult, but that's part of a free society with the technology that we have. And it's just unfortunate that social media, which was a place for open and honest discourse.
For listeners right now, welcome to the show, Transparency and Merit. We do have a website, transparencyandmerit.com. My goodness, this story just, it's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Well, this story and the story of the reporter, I believe it was the CBS reporter, I forget her name, the Asian reporter, who took it to a middle school level, and then the other reporter acted like a middle school person too. They both acted like middle school people, you know, standing up to their high school principal. It was so juvenile.
Well, I think the thing she did was she clearly took what he said personal. And made
Why?
it, because she's Asian and he mentioned China. He goes, he said, go tell China. And she took it personal.
That's, I mean, but that's such an SJW child. That's something that that is something that I would expect from an SJW middle schooler, Asian middle schooler, not an adult. China is an issue with this virus. You know, you're not a kid, man. And you asked a loaded question. And he said, wait, ask China. They were the one that put it up there. And he's asking the press, why don't you talk about what China did? And if it's untrue, debunk it. Because the truth is, I don't know who to believe, whether it was his fault or China's fault. But if it, you know what? If China is not at fault, do a thing on saying why it's not China's fault. She should have said, hey, I don't think it's China's fault. Say, well, you know, there are a lot of people who say it's not China's fault, it's your fault.
Why are you saying it like that to me? Is it because I'm Asian?
Because you're Jewish. No, but I mean, yeah, I mean, that's it's like, are you saying China? Because, I mean, you know what? I don't even know if it would be middle school, maybe grammar school. It was such a childish response. And I'm sorry I'm angry, but that was so childish. And I don't want to keep repeating myself, childish, juvenile.
Move on.
I don't want to move on. I'm angry.
Wah, wah.
I am angry at that. She acted childish.
Well, so are you. Move on.
All right. I don't know. It boggles my mind, and that CNN and that there are people, blue check people on Twitter that take this person seriously. Even if you don't like Trump, that you don't realize that that is a loaded question, and that he personally blames China for the outbreak of this virus. And there's a lot of evidence to suggest that.
Maybe the last chance to call us tonight, 310-668-1969.
Yes.
Otherwise, I don't know where else you want to go with truth and dissent. Where else are you seeing this as an issue, truth and dissent?
Well, I mean,
Frankville, USA. Welcome.
yes. You know what?
You are outraged. I get it.
I mean, and this is part of the civil rights industrial complex, the fanatical anti-racist that have basically, they're in every part of society. And this woman is sitting at the knee of the fanatical, and she's a fanatical anti-racist, and it makes her look like a child. You're not an adult anymore. You're a child. And you know what? When America was even more racist, they didn't behave that way. Reporters didn't behave that way. They were a little bit on the stoic side. God, you guys are, they've become more pathetic and more like, I don't know what it is about the press today, but they seem to have gotten worse. And I got another response, Joe. Let's see what that response basically says. Is this the same thing? He doesn't seem to remember. Is he saying the same thing over and over again, this guy?
No, it's the same one. It's still there.
And I don't know if you want to respond to that other woman on Twitter. The one who said, further down, one more down. Oh, man. Nope. The blue, okay, nope. That's not what happened. If you don't think that was a loaded question, all right. If you can respond, if you don't think, what's that?
Let's see here. Where's the link to this show, by the way? Okay, yeah. What do you want to
say? If you want to put a link to the show, you want to put a link to the show?
Come on, say what you got to say. So I don't want to sit here all day.
Okay, can you put a link to the show as well? Okay,
right.
Ma'am, I want to say, ma'am. Can I?
Yeah, go on.
Ma'am, if you don't think that was a loaded question,
yeah,
and a juvenile response, you truly are myopic. Ma'am.
You don't think that's a loaded response? What?
A loaded question.
Yeah.
And a juvenile response.
I don't know.
I'm waiting. You are truly myopic.
How do you spell juvenile? Damn it.
See? And did you spell ma'am correctly?
Myopic. And then I'll put a link to the show.
And put a link to our show. And say, this is a link to the show. Watch it if you have the courage.
There you go.
Yeah, the Nuggets. Well, look, she's probably not going to be brave our show, but again,
Do you have the Nuggets?
do you have the Nuggets? Are you courageous enough to have dissent? And like I said, I understand that this woman wants the left to win, and she sees this left-wing activist journalist as a hero, but she's just another fanatical anti-racist who thinks more about herself. She's a narcissist. She seems like a real narcissist, by the way, and so does her buddy. They seem like a couple of self-important narcissistic reporters who are really good for nothing. I wouldn't even want them to take my order at the fast food restaurant. They have horrible demeanors, and they used to, you know what I mean? They used to never take this kind of stuff personally. Reporters always wore that stoic mask.
Right.
And now it's like they're the most emotional, easily triggered individuals ever. And you know what? If she, and someone tweeted this out, if she doesn't like it when she's in the room, when Trump mentions China, she shouldn't be in the room. And this one was out, I think it was out in the lawn. She shouldn't be out in the lawn. She has no place. In my opinion, this reporter has no place in a briefing room. It's like, what are you doing? And it's the way the news media reports. They're very one-sided, and if you go to issues of race, you will see the fanatical anti-racist in the press reporting. It's horrible.
That's right.
And you want to continue you want to play the rest of it and see. I want to see what this
appearance by the president in the Rose Garden, refusing to answer our own White House correspondent Caitlin Collins'
He
question.
answered your question.
Going after another reporter, several reporters in the course of that 1 hour exchange. Gloria, it was really awkward to see that unfold, and I give our White House correspondent Caitlin Collins a lot of credit for
Gloria
deferring
Allred?
to that colleague
Who's
of
that?
hers who was asking.
Why would she defer to a loaded question?
To this Asian American? Go ask China about that.
Well, I think I give the journalist a lot of credit, because what she is saying is, "Are you being racist?" and asking
Why?
that question. Now, he denied it, but you can judge for yourself, Wolf. There he was saying to her, "Ask China."
Why not ask China?
And I think this isn't the first time this has occurred from this president, and I think that she had a lot of guts in saying to him,
"Oh, give me a break."
Because
she was immature. She was juvenile.
Who I am.
Yeah, which was a fair question and a fair response.
No, it wasn't. You're full of it.
So wait,
Nonsense.
So you don't think he was being juvenile at all? You don't think he was trying to press her buttons?
Right.
How do you know that?
There on the scene.
He asked a loaded question
of what happened on several related issues. And as Gloria correctly points out, the president accusing the former President Barack Obama of committing the greatest crime, Obamagate, he keeps calling it, although when pressed, what crime did he commit? He didn't have an answer for that. He said, stick around, maybe you'll see something in the next few weeks.
Yeah, Wolf, he said the answer to that question was obvious, though he did not state what it was if he feels it's so obvious.
Yes,
and, of course, a strange end there to the press conference where the president had called on me. I was letting my colleague Weijia Jiang from CBS finish.
You're just another juvenile. You're a middle schooler.
Press conference.
Whoa.
Yeah, but she's just another middle schooler.
Yes.
Standing up to their middle school principal. Did he say something racist? Did you do something? God, just say, you're not noble. You're not doing anything great. Give me a break. You're so full of yourself. I want to defer to my colleague. You just said something racist. Let me virtue signal. He said, why don't you ask China? And that was obviously racist because she's Asian. You asked a loaded question. He blames China. You know what he should ask? Are you a communist? Are you a Marxist? Are you with China? Do you support China? Are you with the enemy?
Question you should ask China. Don't ask me. Ask China that question. Everywhere.
Yeah, he said, ask China that question. I mean, like I said.
I'm sorry, hold on one second.
Play the clip. She asked a reasonable question and watch the president's response.
Why is this a global competition to you if every day Americans are still losing their lives and we're still seeing more cases every day?
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me. Ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very unusual answer. Yes, behind you, please.
Sir, why are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm telling you. I'm not
You
saying it.
asked the question.
I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a nasty question like
That's
that.
not a nasty
Please
question.
go ahead.
It is a nasty question. Give me a break. That's a loaded question. It shouldn't have been nasty, but loaded and nasty.
China.
How do you think he's going to respond?
Question, okay? When you ask them that question, you may get a very China.
Every day.
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world. And maybe that's a question you should ask China.
Yeah. When you ask a loaded question and you want the response, maybe you should ask China. And he's kind of saying, why isn't the press talking about China?
What's that?
Are they in cahoots with China?
And maybe that's a question you should ask China.
All right. Are we done here?
I want to say this.
Yes.
This would never, like during the Second World War, during the Korean War, it started, even during Vietnam, which was unpopular, I don't think the press behaved this way.
What's up, YouTube addiction? Welcome to the show. China.
Yeah. But, yeah, you know what, Joe? I think we'll call this one a day. I don't want to sit and get even more pissed off about this whole situation.
Yeah. You know what?
I mean,
it's pretty good. It's frustrating for a lot of people. So
yeah, and there should be a lot of backlash on that reporter and the other one and CNN. There should be, you know what? And we should be allowed to have this backlash. You know.
Yes.
This was awful. That was terrible. What they did was terrible. And I don't want to get angry and pissed off, but man, that really, I wish I'd have been if I'd have been in that room, man, I'd have given those two chicks the what for.
It was a great, it was a great response to a difficult question. And
well, it's a loaded question. And she,
she took it personal. Period.
She took it personal, but you know what? Trump would have said that to any reporter. It's just sloppy reporting and it's juvenile. She shouldn't be that person shouldn't be there. She's a juvenile child. Get her the hell out of there. I don't want to get angry, but I can't believe that CNN is replaying this nonsense. And there are people out there that believe in this. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Question you should ask China.
There we go. All right, Joe. Anything else before we call this puppy a day?
Nope. I think we're good. Thank you again for listening.
You should ask China.
That's China. Thank you. Subscribe. Come on back to Transparency and Merit.
By the way, subscribe. And if you disagree with me, tell me why.
Please do. And if anybody out there knows the definition of a SJW, for our friend Todd Morris. Feel free to go ahead and define that for him.
I wish I could go ham on people like that.
Yes. All right. Any last words or what?
Like I said, like and subscribe. And if you disagree or agree, I would like people to leave comments below. They don't. That's not important. Well, it is. You know what? I want it, but I don't need it. But yeah. Anyway, that was horrible, horrible stuff.
Yeah, hit that like button.
Hit the like button.
Thank you.
And if you hit the dislike button, describe why you dislike it.
That's right. We're gonna visit. Is there a new Prankville? I gotta go watch Prankville and catch up on my great Prankville USA. Get down there, check it out. You're the best, Todd Morris. Thank you all for listening, and I think that's it for now.
Yeah.